once again for This Week in East Brunswick, your video magazine of events in and around town. Tonight we'll highlight the Friends of the Library's annual book sale at the Brunswick Square Mall. It's still going on, and we'll tell you how to get in on the bargains. Arts Commissioner Dolly gives us a glimpse of the beautiful works which grace the interior of Tower Center's Ramada Renaissance Hotel, which was officially opened this week. We'll also look at a program in town that provides instruction in English as a second language, part of a larger federally sponsored People project. A town council vote this week upheld the neighborhood business designation of a 6-acre tract on Riva Avenue that the planning department had hoped to rezone for rural preservation. Later we'll have a summary of Monday's action meeting. Channel 8's Stuart Davis follows students against violating the environment on one of their local cleanup projects. All this and more tonight on This Week in East Brunswick.
Hi, I'm Josephine Fiamingo. Opening night of the 15th annual bargain book sale was a huge success for the East Brunswick Friends of the Library. Crowds swarmed the sale. People arrived hours before just to be first in line, a line that completely surrounded the book sale area. Then the mad rush began. I'm here with Gail Deslesky, co-chairman of the book sale. Gail, how many books do you think were sold during the 2 hours of preview night?
Well, it's very hard to estimate that, but I would say at least between 8,000, maybe as much as 10,000 volumes of books were sold.
And how many people do you think were here?
Oh, at least 400 to 500 people. All I can tell you is it was like a sardine can. Nobody could move very much. Once they were in there, you were kind of stuck. But I think everybody really enjoyed themselves and had a good time trying to find books that they really wanted.
It seemed like the art section and the children's section were very, very popular last night. Were those the two busiest?
All I can tell you is when the dealers arrived, they actually dove into the tables, and within 10 minutes, the table was almost completely depleted of books. Children's is always very popular, but hobbies and fiction held up too during the night. They were very crowded.
And what's left? What's left for people coming now to the sale?
Well, this year we have a record amount of books. We tried to estimate, and we really feel that we had way over the 60,000 books that we said we originally had. And so we do have a huge amount still in storage, so that I will be bringing them out, and every day there will be new books out on the table. So no matter what day you come this particular year, you will have a wonderful selection of books.
Thank you, Gail.
You're welcome.
The sale continues through Sunday, April 16th at the Brunswick Square Mall during mall hours. And who knows, that book that you can't find anywhere may be here waiting for you.
Josephine Fiamingo is a library spokesperson. She also interviewed book dealers and other patrons on opening night at the sale.
With me, I have Paul Ruther. He owns a store in Philadelphia called Factotum Books. And Paul, this is like your third or fourth time coming back to the book sale. What keeps you coming back?
Well, this is a pretty good sale, and it's close by to Philadelphia. It's about an hour's drive from Philly, and it's kind of on our beat. This time of year in spring, we go to a lot of sales all up and down the East Coast, and this is just one of the stops along the way.
What are some of the books that you found here that you haven't found at other sales?
Well, this is a pretty good sale for fine arts, decorative arts, things like that. Seems like we've got most of that. Yeah. We've gotten a little bit from everything because the shops that we all run are general bookshops.
I
so
see.
There's a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Are you going to come back tomorrow, or
well,
is it you're going to get everything tonight?
We're trying to figure that out. If we can, we'll probably come back tomorrow. It's just a matter of our schedules and stuff.
These are all your books right here, right?
Yeah.
How many books do you think you're purchasing tonight?
Well, so far there's about 700, and maybe later on we'll get about 1,000, perhaps.
And how many dealers do you think are here tonight at the book sale?
Well, when I was in line at 5 o'clock, there was at least about 20.
20 dealers?
Yeah, and perhaps more.
And you've been in line since 5 o'clock
Since
to
5
get into
o'clock,
the sale?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you were able to find, the books that you were looking for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Karen, why don't you tell everybody, when was the last time you waited in a line like the line you had to wait in to get into the book sale tonight?
At the White House.
At the White House? When were you there?
A couple weeks ago.
And they had a line like the line that was here at the book sale?
A little bit longer.
How many books did you purchase tonight?
12.
And what kind of books did you get?
Chapter books.
Paul, did you have to wait in line to get into the book sale?
No, not really.
Oh, no, you came later because there was a long line.
About 7:30 or so we got here.
And how many books did you purchase tonight?
8.
8 books. And did you find any that was a real great find?
Oh yeah,
books that you
a
were
couple
really
of them
looking
I've been
for?
looking for. And
what are those that you were really looking for?
a couple of books by Len Dayton and Jack Higgins and some odds and ends.
Is this your first time at the sale?
No, I've been here before.
Do you go to other sales?
No, this is the only one I've been to.
And why do you keep coming back?
Well, you know, I like to read. I'm on a disability retirement now for 2 years, so I have a lot of time on my hands. And, you know, I read everything from gardening to cookbooks to mysteries and history or whatever.
That sounds great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Dolly with your arts update for this week, and I'm taping today at the beautiful Renaissance Hotel, which is the newest addition of the Tower Center complex on Route 18 in East Brunswick. My guest is Ray Landis, one of my favorite people and corporate art advisor. We're in the gorgeous Carlisle room, very elegant, and I want to talk to Ray a little bit about some of the corporate art that is hanging in the hotel. Ray, let's start off with the picture that's really behind us. Who is it by? And I know it has a history to it.
The picture behind us was painted by, it's a watercolor painted by Linda Bastian. Linda had this hanging in the American Embassy in Africa. I discovered it in the gallery in Boston, the Diana Levine Fine Art Gallery, and I felt it would be appropriate for this room. We had it shipped here, and we're very pleased with the way it looks in the space.
It's an exciting picture just to sit and to be able to dine here and then to look at that.
Well, thank you.
Let's
It's come a long way.
Yes. Let's go on and we'll kind of go around the room as we're talking. Now the next piece I keep referring to as Italian art, but it's not Italian art, is it?
No, it's not. It's by an American artist named Betty Tompkins. And Betty does beautiful oils. She is well known in the New York scene, but hangs in many major museums, and is a very fine young painter, and somebody that I've worked with for many years.
It's a marvelous piece.
Thank you very much.
Now we have 3 pieces down the other end of the dining room of this elegant and exquisitely done fruit.
Yes, those are very, very delicate. Delicate's a perfect word for it. They're done by an artist named Po Kim. He's from New York, and again, an artist that I've worked with for many years. His work hangs in the Guggenheim Museum. He's very noted.
Okay, on the far wall, as we're going around the room, there are 2 more pieces.
Well, those are bromeliads, and those are actually lithographs, and they're very nicely done. We have we're happy to have had them for this space. I think they work well there.
How did you go about choosing the artwork for this hotel? I mean, that's a huge job to decide what will look what where.
You search around. We went as far as Boston and New York, and contacted many artists that we knew. I have been in this business for 22 years, so there are many people that I worked with comfortably and whose work I admired and appreciated. And you'll see some of the pieces that we had commissioned by these particular artists, like Ragone Parakis, Alice Bryant, Stephen Hall, and a few others.
Well, if we're able to get to them today, but there's 2 pieces upstairs by the ballroom.
They're by Alice Bryant.
Right.
And Alice does these major works for large spaces. She's also a very fine sculptor whom we have a commission in the works for at Carnegie Center in Princeton, which is another complex that we're involved in. And we're very happy with her work. She's, I think, phenomenal.
Now what about the pieces near the Renaissance?
In the Renaissance Cafe, we have commissioned an artist named Ragone Parakis, and we asked her to try to give the extension of the cafe, which was supposed to be an outdoor scene, into the paintings and to give it a little depth, and I think she's really captured that very, very well. We've gotten some wonderful feedback on those.
Now, in your disco, you have some really funky, really funky.
That's a good word.
Yep.
They're really fun pieces. They're by Stephen Hall. He's out of New York. Originally, we had him do 7 pieces, and everybody loved it so well that we had another 5 pieces made. The 2 wall sculptures outside of the disco are by Joe McDonnell, who incidentally did the sculpture in front of Tower 1, the same artist. Joe works out of Cold Springs Harbor in New York, and he's a very fine man, and we do a great deal of work with him on various projects. The other 2 pieces that we didn't mention outside of this room are by Linda Lowry, L-O-W-R-Y. She's from the Midwest, and again, those pieces were picked up at the Diana Levine Fine Art Gallery in Boston.
Well, the work here, all of it is really spectacular. Each one seems to fit so perfectly where you chose it for.
We have one other piece that we haven't talked about. As you come in from Tower 2 into the concourse level, you will see a large painting of a marina. That's done by Jane Ritchie. That too was found in Boston at the Diana Levine Fine Art Gallery. And one that's a favorite, mostly with the men that come into the building.
Well,
I love the marina scene.
Right. Not to mention that exquisite waterfall as you come through that front door.
Yes,
Oh, that is
yes.
wonderful.
That was not part of my
No, it's not.
my
but
job, but it's just beautiful. You're absolutely right.
be a great place on a hot day to take off your shoes.
I'd like to see a bride come down on that escalator with the waterfall nearby. It's just lovely.
Ray, thank you so much. I know they want to get this room set up.
Yes.
So
Thank you,
we'll let
Dolly.
them get to their job.
And thank you so much for coming by.
The exceptional student artwork currently on display in the library is comprised of some of the best pieces to come out of Hammershaw, Churchill, and the high school this year. Previously on display at Newark Airport, the works represent promising students in the school system's art departments. Illustrations and commercial graphics line the far walls. Jewelry and ceramics are on display in the front. So check it out this week in the library.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Knox with Teens Talk Titles. Have you heard the story of Taming the Star Runner by S.E. Hinton? This novel deals with 16-year-old Travis, a rebellious teen. Travis gets himself in trouble at home as he disagrees with his stepfather and hangs out with the wrong crowd. After making an attempt on his stepfather's life, Travis is sent to live on his uncle's ranch. He finds the country a great contrast to the city life he is used to, and he promises to get along with his small cousin. He also desperately tries to fit in at school. This feat is unsuccessful, and Travis finds himself lingering around the barn, where a girl called Casey gives riding lessons and shows immense bravery and endurance in trying to tame her wild horse, the Star Runner. Travis learns a great deal of responsibility working in the stables and also discovers a valuable friend in Casey. However, Travis's real love lies in writing, at which he is a natural. Taking pride in his talent, Travis sends the book he wrote away to a publishing company, and it is accepted. Throughout the story, Travis learns to deal with problems more effectively and calmly, and also comes to the realization that life is only what you make of it. You can also read this compelling, heartfelt story. Stop by the library and check it out.
Hi, I'm Stuart Davis for This Week in East Brunswick. And last Sunday, we had the opportunity to join Students Against Violating the Environment in a cleanup of Keystone Wildlife Preserve. The students cleaned up the Conrail easement, parts of the South River, and all along the American Legion Hall. Fortunately, Keystone Park wasn't too dirty because the township takes care of that. We had an opportunity to talk to them, so stay tuned and I'll bring you some interviews with them. I'm with Sandy Horvath, high school science teacher and advisor of Students Against Violating the Environment. Sandy, how did you get involved with this group?
Well, with all the environmental issues in the media again, after taking a 10-year kind of break, the students got really interested in a humanities class and just came to me because I teach contemporary issues and we talk about all these issues every year. Asked me if I could be their advisor. And I said, great, it's something that we should have done 10 years ago, and now we're doing it.
Why is it important for teenagers and the community to get involved in things like this?
Well, the awareness, I think. You know, it makes an attitude. It promotes an attitude of respect for your environment, period. We start with litter, but it goes on to everything else.
I got the opportunity to talk to some of the kids who came out to clean up. Most of them are from East Brunswick High School, but a few came from South River, a former East Brunswick High School student who graduated, and even from as far away as Manalapan. And one of the things that they've all been talking about is that this is hopefully going to be a catalyst to get other people in the community out to help clean up. And as Sandy Horvath has mentioned, there are going to be more cleanups in May. But first I'd like to ask you something that probably a lot of the township residents are wondering. Why are you out here? Why do you come out on a Sunday afternoon to pick up garbage?
Stop littering. Plus, we had a great incentive by our teacher for coming out, and it's good for good of the community and goes in the transcript. There's many reasons.
Why do you think it's important to clean up the environment?
Well, if you don't clean it up now, it's just going to become progressively worse, and somebody's got to do it, and to continue to clean the environment will eventually benefit the community itself.
Has anybody learned anything from this whole experience?
Definitely.
Allison?
Yeah, it's really important because you actually see what really goes on. I mean, I never even knew about how bad it was, everything.
What specifically have you seen?
Beer bottles, a lot of partying going on down here. It opens your eyes to really what goes on in your township, and you got to be a part of it to help it out.
How about you?
Well, like what I learned is like I thought like garbage, we're being cleaning up garbage. I think we see like papers and bottles and stuff, but we've seen some pretty gross stuff out here. We've seen car batteries and oil filters, like disc brakes, mufflers, things like that, and it's really gross. And people, like, what we want to do is we want to show people, you know, you got to get involved. We don't want like this to turn into, you know, like a big dump.
How many afternoons do you think it's going to take to clean this town up?
How many afternoons? Like, a lot.
Forever and
ever.
ever.
We need a lot more people, you know, so I hope people see this and just come on out.
What can you tell other people in the community about their environment?
Well, that it's getting progressively worse with all the increase in people in the area. And they don't start taking care of it, they're going to wind up living in a huge garbage dump.
For a more complete look at how teenagers feel about the environment, tune in to May's edition of 18, Growing Up in East Brunswick. It's on the first and third weekdays at 8 p.m. and Saturdays at 11 a.m., right here on Channel 8.
Hi, I'm Phyllis Klugerman. I'm the Director of the Adult and Community Education Program in East Brunswick. And what you're going to see this morning is a little piece of our Senior Citizen E.S.L program. E.S.L is English as a second language. This particular segment of it is for senior citizens. And I guess if you've ever been to a foreign country, not being able to speak the language, you could imagine how some of these seniors in East Brunswick feel about being here in this country as foreigners, unable to shop comfortably or to call for assistance from the police or from the fire department. They're here today, and they're here twice a week in the morning to learn to speak English so they can communicate in our district as citizens of the state of New Jersey or the United States. It's a very, very interesting and fine program. We've had it here in East Brunswick for the past 14 years and hope to continue to serve the citizens of East Brunswick for some time to come. Currently, we're serving about 233 individuals in East Brunswick, and we certainly would be more than happy to have any of the rest of you that need our services apply.
Now we're going to use the phone book, the yellow pages, to look up services that we can find in our community. It's very important that we know numbers for the police, the fire department, to get an ambulance, to get information here at the senior center or the library. So we're going to be using the yellow pages and the different kinds of phone books to get this information. You want East Brunswick schools. You can find them over here. East Brunswick Fire Company, and you can get the number here. Okay. What is the name of a hospital we would use?
I don't know.
You don't know. Hannah, do you know the name of a hospital we would use? Where is the hospital? In New Brunswick. So even though Hannah doesn't know the name of the hospital, she could look under New Brunswick, not East Brunswick, to find the hospital.
Donna Guskin. I'm one of the teachers and coordinators of the Adult Basic Skill program. It's been one of the most rewarding experiences I've had in 20 years of teaching. The students are the most eager. Anything you can teach them, they're so grateful for. Teachers in other countries seem to be much more highly respected than teachers in America, and this is reflected in the way that the students react to the teachers. Anyone is eligible to come in and avail of our services. They do not have to be a resident of East Brunswick. However, most of our students do come from East Brunswick. Many of our students progress from the E.S.L. classes into our literacy or GED classes, where they can get a high school diploma, and some go right on to college or other types of higher education. I first entered this program as a GED math teacher. Near the end of a year, there was need to fill in to an E.S.L. class. I sort of worked into it blind. However, I would never leave it in a million years. All right, our classes again are Mondays and Wednesdays, in the morning at the senior center and in the evening at the high school. Anyone who wishes to join our classes can either call 613-6980 or just come to one of the two locations to sign up. There are no fees for any of our classes.
Angry residents confronted council members Monday night following a negative vote to rezone a tract of land on Riva Avenue from neighborhood business to rural preservation. Residents had been hoping the council would pass the planning department's proposed ordinance, which would change the zoning law and prevent the construction of a strip shopping mall in that area. Increased traffic and a strained septic system were some of the problems cited by worried landowners. Several council members, including Council President Joseph Hudak, did express their support for this ordinance in an attempt to sway a majority vote.
I think that neighborhood should be preserved. I mean, you go all around town in East Brunswick, Route 18. Once the developers get in, they're like locusts. They don't stop. They're going to come in. The next thing you know, on a rural preservation, if we don't preserve it, they'll come in and they'll put sewers and everything else. I don't think this should really go to the planning board. I've worked in that area with the Twin Lakes. You would have had townhouses there. That was almost approved by the Sewerage Authority with septic tanks. Imagine that. I've been around, I've walked in Sundays in the rain at Colonial Estates and saw the drainage there. I saw Mr. Iorio come to the Sewerage Authority. We wouldn't even give him a letter to approve that project in that area. It's so highly environmentally sensitive, the aquifers. Who needs neighborhood? It's almost like spot zoning. Once that land is gone, it's gone forever. And I implore my council person here to vote yes on this ordinance. Thank you.
4 affirmative votes were needed to approve this particular zoning change. Ira Oskowski abstained due to a business conflict with developer Henry Rosenzweig, so it was William Kirk who had the deciding vote. He said no and defeated the rural preservation in that neighborhood, which is near Starkin Road. Kirk thinks the planning board is better qualified to make decisions regarding drainage and traffic conditions and is confident the board will not approve a development that would pose problems. Riva Avenue residents who left the meeting disgruntled and frustrated included those near Patrick Street, who opposed their property being changed to RP. This RP ordinance was not defeated. Councilmember Russell Walker said last week he would support these longtime residents who want to open neighborhood businesses, but his vote this week did not reflect that. The council also adopted the township's amended 1989 budget Monday night. Public hearings for resolutions to authorize the reduction of performance guarantees for Briar Ridge were tabled and have been rescheduled for April 24th. The Garden State Ballet made its Central Jersey debut Saturday at East Brunswick's Playhouse 22 for an evening of not-so-serious ballet. Here's a quick peek at the performance, which featured music of Lullier, Rameau, Chopin, and others. It was funded in part by AT&T and the Middlesex County Neighborhood Arts Consortium.